Well, hey guys, this is Aaron with Camp Prevost, and I promise I'm gonna do a video on my bus coming up. We finally have beautiful weather out. Those are blue skies. We don't have 100-mile-an-hour wind, tornadoes, and snow. Well, at least today anyway. But Dr. Prepare reached out to me and asked if I'd do a video on their battery, and I said that I'll try it out. And the more I've used it, it's pretty cool. And so I just wanted to put this video out here and show you this. They do, if you watch my videos, the Signature Solar EG4 batteries are really reasonable. These are too. I mean, go look for yourself. And if you get this PowerMax module, they gave me a discount code for you guys to use for another 7.5% off. And it's pretty cool. I mean, if you compare this thing to one of those Blue Eddies and some of those other units, this by far is the cheapest way to go. And if you're just looking at a battery, they are the most reasonable priced anyway. And so I just thought I'd do a video on this. I'll do a unboxing and then show charging it up and a whole bunch of uses for it. But like I said, I'm gonna do bring my bus home this weekend and start putting the solar panels on it. You're gonna see this battery and that cooler because those are permanent fixtures now. They're both awesome, but I hope you enjoy the video. If this battery sucked, I'd tell them, you know, thanks, but no thanks, but it's pretty doggone cool. The other thing as well, the SIG solar panels that I have for the bus, I took the two 80-watt panels and I'm not going to put them on my bus, and I had this solar charge controller from Victron specifically for it, so I just double stick taped it to this. It does have and you'll see in the video here, it does have a built-in MPPT 100-watt, which I've got cables for, but instead of returning this or throwing it away, I just stuck it to that. And then also, you know, you can get anything you want, but I thought that kind of matched it and stuck it to it as well. But hope you enjoy the video. It's a 12-volt battery, but there's a spot right here for a PowerMax module to go in there, and what it has is a 12-volt cigarette lighter, some USB, and MPPT to charge it. So it's, if you saw my video with the set power cooler, everything that I made to bring with me on the trip, this thing has it inside of it. And so it's a 100 amp 12-volt battery, so it's about 1300 watts of power. But I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. I think the power module ships separately, so I don't think I have it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll open this up and see what she's like inside here. Must be the mounting legs. All right. It's hard to believe this thing has probably more power in it than that 160-pound AGM-AD battery. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out. It was wrapped really well, but go ahead and get it out here and I'll pick it up from there. So what I wanted to do real quick is just see what it was shipped with, battery wise. My dogs wanted to be on video. All right. So 13.2, so I'm used to 24, so 13.2 is 26.4, so needs a little bit of charge, but it's not too far off. So some of the specs I wanted to show you real quick. This battery is awesome. It's the LifePo, which I'm a fan of. These things are great, but a lot better than the lithium ion. It's, like I said, 100 amps, so 1280 watt, 12 volt max charging, 14.6, so that's probably too high anyway. It's got a BMS in it, so max discharging is 100 amp. That's a lot. Well, I guess it's a 12 volt battery, but that's a lot of amps coming out. Charging is 50, so that's a lot too. 2,000 cycles at 80%. I bet it's a ton more than that. And there's also a bunch of videos out here, but it's got the BMS in here, and it will turn itself off on the low temperature and high temperature. It's done real well. Storage temperature range 32 to 95, and it's 27 pounds. Didn't really feel like that. This thing's nice. You know, if you were to get one of those Yetis and stuff like that at 1200 amps, this thing would be thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm excited to test it. I guess this PowerMax module, I think it ships separately, so haven't received it yet. So when I get that, we'll give her some testing. Well, I ended up charging this. Got another Victron solar charger, so I hooked it up to the battery, and got another 80 watt panel, so I'm running that in. I'll show what the charge is. I think it's close to 80 watts today. It's a nice beautiful day today. And that's my other 8D battery, so that one's 160 pounds, 260 amp battery, 12 volt, and so at the lower voltage and at maybe 50%, 40% capacity, this guy right here at 27 pounds, that's got the same capacity as that. That battery right there is like $900, and this one, show on the screen what it is, but this PowerMax module that they're sending me, basically it clips in here, and it's a MPPT, and it's got a cigarette lighter and a couple USBs on it, so you can just kind of take this and plug your panel into it, and away you go. The MPPT that comes with it, I think it maxes out at 100 watts maybe. I'll have to do some more digging into it. So this one right here, this is 100 volts at 20 amp, so that'll give quite a bit of charge, but I've only got an 80 watt panel right now, so this will take up to 50 amps of charge, or 100 charging voltage, discharge at 100, charging at 50. So well under it, but yeah, I've got this thing charging, so I'm hoping maybe today I can get about a half charge on it, and I want to get this thing charged up, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I've got this one, and inside of here I've got another one. I had 6 on my bus, and 4 of them were toast, and these 2 were fine. I just don't know what to do with them, because I think I'll probably sell them. They're 160 pounds a piece, so they're can't really move them. So I don't know. Give me some comments on what you think I should use them for. But this cooler, I ended up doing a test on it, and it was awesome. So I'll be able to just plug this straight into there. So I just came out here real quick and put 2 of my smallest panels, they're the 80 watt SIGs, and put them up towards the sun. And I'm getting like 112 watts right now going into my Victron, into the solar charge controller. If I lay them flat, I get like, what am I at, I don't know, quite a bit less. So I'm thinking about, do I get like a board to set underneath and then I can swivel them? But I don't know, I mean, of course, they're going to be most productive if they can be perpendicular to the sun. But if they lay flat on like the top of my bus, trying to figure out, you know, you can almost double the output of these if you have them face the sun correctly. So, you know, instead of buying more and more and more solar panels, if you could get them to actually face the sun, you could do with less, or have more solar harvesting throughout the entire day. So I don't know, kind of what I'm playing with. So this is 1200 watt battery, so I kind of want to charge it up and then keep draining it, but it's kind of neat to get, you know, free energy. It's out here all the time, just never use it. Well, I just got the charging hub for the battery. So take it out here. So this guy will click into here, and what this will let us do is, it's got DC out for a cigarette lighter, and then it's got what's that? DC out, USB-C out, USB out, and a DC in. So these, through this Anderson connector, access the 12-volt battery, so I can get power out. And then this right here is an MPPT in, and it's 100 watt max. So get my camera up here. I still have my kind of need two hands. There we go. There. So if I get rid of this, what it is it's a clean way to access the battery. So I'm going to be playing around with this and try the solar out. Right now I got to drain it because it's full, but I'm going to work on plugging some stuff in. What's going to be nice is I can plug that cooler that I have in directly to this battery, and I think I can run it for like 8 days. And then if I plug in a solar panel, it'll charge it back up. So pretty cool. So what I thought I'd do, instead of just doing the cooler test, how long it could run, because I think it's 5 days, is what all can you do with this battery? And what I wanted to do is take advantage of the PowerMax module. I'll put a link in the description, but I found and bought this 300 watt sine wave inverter, and I just adhered it to the top, and it gives me two 120 volt outlets and two USB outlets. And I ended up, you could attach it just to these bars if you want, but what I did was I put it into the load side of my MPPT so that I can see what the loads are. And if I turn it on, I can do 120 volt. If I press this button right here, then I've got this guy which shows me the voltage. I get a USB-C that's 30 watts, 30 watt USB-A. I've got DC out. I've got the USB-C out, two USB-A's, and then this is the solar MPPT. What I did, because this is only 300 watt, is I did get an Anderson connector, and I put an appropriate sized cable on here, and I got a 1200 watt inverter. And I got 1200 watt because the battery is 100 amp. And so you can do max discharging 100 amp at 12.8. So that's 1200 watts, just about. I think this will peak to 14. So all I do is I take this connector now and I plug it in. Bam, I'm done. And then if I hit this guy, I now have 1200 watts, 120 volt power. So now I can do a whole bunch. So what I thought I'd do, and again, I can just turn that off. And then with this Anderson connector, I need 2 hands to do it, but it just pops right off. I can run a lot of things with the battery. So what I'm gonna do is show like all the different options that you have with this battery. So here's one option. You know, if you had an electric cooler, and this one, I can put a link in to it. It runs off 12, 24, and 120 volt AC. And you can simply, with this PowerMax module, you don't need the inverter or the MPT. You can just plug it straight into here and she's running. So you can have an electric cooler in the back of your truck to go anywhere. You can go to a game or anything. And this, I think it'll run it for 5 days. So just to sum it up, this is what it looked like. You know, if you were out camping and you had the cooler, you could just have the battery right behind it and it's plugged in. Like I said, you can get 5 days, but with an 80 watt panel, you know, you could get 8.6, 400 or 500 watt. And so conservatively, if you had 100 watt total, you could just keep this guy running 100%. And it's not like that's crazy. Just throw a solar panel in, plug it into your battery, plug it into your cooler, and you got a cooler for as long as the sun comes up. With the 1200 watt inverter plugged onto it, you know, one thing you could do is if you've got some vehicles maybe out in the middle of nowhere you need to charge on. I've got a battery here, and the golf cart is got a battery charger connected to it through here. You know, you could jump start a battery, piece of farm equipment or anything, and relatively painless. So you could get quite a bit of amps going to a battery to jump start something. You know, another thing you could do, depending on where you are, you know, if you're at a campground or way off site, is with that 1200 watt inverter just plugged into it, you know, I can run and clean up my truck. You know, this thing's rated at 9 amps at 120 volts, so let's say 800. So you could run this for an hour and a half, which, you know, I think most people probably do 10-15 minutes maybe. So, you know, it's got plenty of power. And then you could throw a solar panel in there and charge it back up. The other thing you can do, and just with the 100 or 300 watt inverter, it's $50. That's just on the top of there. Is, you know, I've got a chainsaw. I could take this out in the middle of nowhere and I can charge a battery while I'm running one. You know, the other thing, if you've got a lawn care business or something like that, you could throw a battery, this charger in there, and you could charge up, you know, all your tools, your spare batteries while you're driving down the road. The one thing I've done quite a bit is I just throw it in the back of my truck, and this cigarette lighter running off of that PowerMax, I can do 30 watt or 60 watt, I think, and charge my laptop. And so a lot of times if I'm, you know, going to different jobs or different things, I just keep this back here, and with a $10 cigarette lighter cord, I can charge this. There are some on here on the PowerMax, but they say not to do a laptop with it. But if you plug in that cigarette lighter thing, it'll take care of it. And then plus this 300 watt, I could plug the AC cord into it, but that uses like 4 watts of power, and this doesn't use anything. So, you know, charging my laptop, and then you can charge tons of iPhones, run a hotspot and everything. You know, another thing you could do, so this is in my utility room. I've got 2 sumps, and pending the watts on them, I've got a low powered one. You could plug in that bigger inverter or the 300 watt, and you could have battery backup. And if you get the I love my Victron stuff. If you get the Victron, I can put a link into it, 12 volt, 5 amp. I think it's like $80. It was real reasonable. You could plug that up to it and plug it into AC, and you could actually have the sump pump run through this, and then the battery would supply power, you know, if the power went out, and that would just keep it topped off. But, you know, relatively inexpensive. They also offer different versions of that battery. You know, if you put it in this scenario, you wouldn't have to have the PowerMax. I think it's like $249 or $259, and then I think there's like an additional discount they're giving me, and put it in the link. But you know, 250 bucks, that would run a sump for a long time. And like I said, if you kept like the 5 amp charger onto it, you know, you could run it through it and kind of use it as a UPS. But that's definitely another option, is to do a backup for your sump. So I ended up hooking the battery and this little inverter up to my home office. So I'm running this monitor, monitor, M2 Mac Mini, and then the speakers, and then the microphone and all of this other stuff. It's like 110 watts. So at 1200 watt hours, and this is running like 100 to 110, I should get over 10 hours of use. So it's pretty cool, running the whole office off of my battery. So another thing that you can do with this battery, and it pulls on surge just enough that it trips the 300 watt inverter, so I've got it into the bigger one. But you can run this pellet grill anywhere you want, relatively easy. So you could turn this on, and everything's running now. So it's pretty cool. And I would imagine, I think it's like 200 watts. So you could run this for 6 hours. So that's quite a bit of time. So just another option and thing that you could do with that battery. So another thing that I was thinking of, so you can get different versions of this battery that are less expensive. You don't have to have this PowerMax module. And what I was thinking that would be cool is if you were to actually use these Anderson connectors on here, and you got, because of the price of these, on your coach, on an RV, you could actually get, you know, quite a few of these. And if you had them wired, had Anderson connectors like in your coach, then you could just plug this battery in. And then when you got somewhere, if you wanted to take the battery, you could take it out. And so you could actually have it modular. You wouldn't have to leave this battery on your RV. So you could take this battery and you could put it downstairs to run your sump pump, or you could take it and for a weekend and run your cooler or the different thing. You know, you could take these batteries, and if you had the Anderson connector on there, you know, you think you could take this fuel cell, you could take it out and add it in. So that's pretty cool. Well guys, thanks for watching. I hope the video was of value and shows you why I'm kind of excited about this battery. It's just awesome. It's only 27 pounds. You can use it a whole bunch of different ways. What I'm excited about is, you know, if we get the bus and we go on a trip, I pull my truck and I'm gonna be throwing the cooler in the back of the bus and in the back of the truck, because we usually take off and go different places. And so now I can run that cooler for the whole weekend. And so it just makes it nice just for that. Plus I can plug that grill into it. We can charge our batteries. You can do a whole bunch of things with it. Like I did say, I'm looking at bringing the bus home Friday evening and starting to put the SIG solar panels on it. I've also got the CAN bus information in between the Wakespeed WS 500 alternator regulator, the EG4 battery BMS, and the Victron servo system. So going to be working with Signature Solar to get the CAN bus going, and then adhere all of my solar panels that I've got in here. I've got them in the box down here. So I've got two 240 watt and I've got 6 160 watt panels. They're inside of there. So those panels are incredible. I've got two 80 watt panels. And like I said, I love those things so much that I'm not gonna put them on the bus. I'm just gonna use them to charge up this battery and anything else I can dream of. The other thing too is I did that video on what do I do with those other 8D batteries and my Outback inverter. And so this thing works great. This is plugged into my sump pump, and as you can see, it's 25.6 volt. I've got it low. I don't like it going real high, but right now it's kind of like a UPS system, so I can plug anything into it. So I don't even need I got a generator over here in case we need it, but pretty awesome stuff. More things coming out. Appreciate you watching. Hit like and subscribe, helps get the video out, and want to see anything, let me know. But excited to bring the bus home and get some more videos coming out.